What if the very thing you've been praying for, the end of this intense, bewildering twin flame journey, has already happened, and you simply haven't recognized the quiet signature of its completion? You've weathered the storm of awakening. You've navigated the dizzying heights of connection and the crushing void of separation. You've done the shadow work, filled the journals, and learned the language of surrender until the words felt worn smooth in your heart. And now, there's a stillness. It's not the empty stillness of absence, but a different kind. A potent, humming quiet that feels both like a relief and a question. It's in this quiet that the old, familiar anxiety whispers, "Is this it? Or am I just deluding myself, waiting for the next cosmic shoe to drop?" We become so accustomed to the earthquakes that we mistake the solid ground beneath our feet for something suspicious. We've been marathon runners in a race for divine love for so long that we don't know how to trust the finish line when it's not a roaring crowd, but a profound and personal silence. This isn't a sign you've failed the journey. It is the most compelling evidence that you are, in fact, on the precipice of its greatest revelation. The chaos was never the point, it was the catalyst. The longing was never the destination, it was the compass that has led you, at last, to the center of your own being. Think of it like this. Your journey has been a symphony of overwhelming and beautiful noise, a crescendo of emotions, a percussion of synchronicities, a melody of longing that became the soundtrack to your life. But now, the music has faded, and in the resonant silence that follows, you are left not with emptiness, but with the ability to truly hear yourself for the very first time. This is the space where the real magic begins to stir. This is where we discover that the journey's end is not a full stop, but the moment you are finally handed the pen to compose your own score. Let's get real for a moment. You've done the work. You've cried the tears, screamed into the pillows, journaled until your hand cramped, and forgiven the seemingly unforgivable, both in them and the harder part, in yourself. You feel better. You feel peaceful. And yet, a quiet, nagging question remains. Is this it? Is this peace the final destination, or just a rest stop on this endless spiritual highway? We're so programmed for drama, for the cosmic push and pull, that this new stillness can feel suspicious, like the universe is about to jump out and yell, "Surprise, more lessons." But what if I told you the most profound sign of completion isn't just a feeling of peace? Peace can be fragile. It can be shaken. No, the real, unshakable evidence is something far more radical. It's the great alchemy. It's when you realize the frantic, desperate, beautiful search for your sacred other has ended because you have, quite without fanfare, become the very thing you were seeking. Think of it like this. In the beginning, your twin flame was a walking, talking, heart-stoppingly beautiful mirror. You looked into their eyes and saw everything you were not. You saw a courage you lacked, a creativity you'd forgotten, a wild, untamable spirit you'd locked away for safekeeping. The magnetic pull wasn't just toward them. It was toward those disowned parts of your own soul, projected out onto a convenient, if complicated, human screen. The chase, let's be honest, was a sacred scavenger hunt for your own missing pieces. But the alchemy, the true magic, happens in the quiet. It happens on a random Tuesday when you're facing a challenge at work and you feel a surge of unwavering strength rise up in your gut. Not a borrowed strength, not a "what would they do" strength, but a strength that is undeniably, organically yours. And in that moment, you have a shocking realization. This is the exact strength you once adored in them. The mirror hasn't just gone blank. It has reversed its polarity. The reflection has been absorbed, integrated. The gold you were mining in their hills, you now find bubbling up from your own wells. This is where the journey transcends relationship dynamics and becomes pure ontology, a shift in your very state of being. The fiery, romantic, often obsessive passion you felt for them undergoes a transmutation. It cools into a steady, glowing ember of passion for your own life. Their humor becomes your newfound ability to laugh at the absurdity of it all. Their spiritual depth becomes your own daily, quiet communion with the divine. You start to prefer your own company, not out of loneliness, but because you've become genuinely interesting to yourself. You're finally dating the most fascinating person you know, you. And let's be clear, this isn't about building a wall around your heart and declaring, "I don't need anyone." That's just spiritual bypassing in a fancy cloak. This is about becoming so full, so complete in your own right, that your need transforms into choice. You no longer need your twin flame to complete a sentence you've forgotten how to start. You're writing the entire novel yourself, and what a page turner it's becoming. It's a funny thing, this alchemy. You set out on this path for love, for union with another, and the universe, in its infinitely witty way, gives you the ultimate plot twist. The union was always an inside job. The sacred partner you were searching for in the world was, all along, waiting to be unveiled within you. You haven't lost your twin. You've integrated them. They no longer live in your heart as a separate entity to be longed for, but in your very bones, as a fundamental part of the sovereign being you have become. And you know what the most fascinating part of this whole transformation is? It completely rewires your understanding of destiny itself. Once you become the source, the entire question of will we or won't we undergoes a revolution you simply can't see coming. But that beautiful soul is a conversation for our next moment together. So you've become the alchemist. You feel whole, complete, a self-sustaining sun in your own solar system. It's a magnificent feeling, isn't it? But then, a whisper, a faint old echo from the past. If I'm so whole and this journey is truly over, what now? Does this mean the story with my twin is just a closed book? This, my friend, is where we step off the well-trodden path and into the wild, uncharted territory of your true power. This is where you trade the comfortable drama of destiny for the breathtaking responsibility of sovereignty. Let's talk about this idea of a divine script. For so long, haven't we been taught to wait for it, to look for signs, to decode synchronicities like a celestial detective, all in service of a predetermined outcome? Union, with a capital U. It's a narrative that can feel incredibly comforting, especially in the pain of separation. It absolves you of responsibility. It's not my fault, it's divine timing. The universe is testing us, we become actors in a play written by an unseen hand, desperately trying to guess our next line, our next cue for the grand finale. But what if the journey's end isn't about finally reaching the last page of that script? What if it's about gently, or perhaps dramatically, taking the pen from the universe's hand and realizing, with a heart-stopping jolt, that you have been the co-author all along? This is the sovereign blueprint. It's the moment you move from being a passenger on the twin flame roller coaster, screaming, hands in the air, at the mercy of every twist and turn, to being the architect of the entire theme park. You're not just on the ride. You understand the mechanics, you know how to safely stop it, and you're even considering designing a new, more thrilling attraction. The language you use shifts seismically. It's no longer the passive, "I wonder if we'll be brought back together." It becomes the active, empowered, and frankly terrifying question: given who I am now and who they are now, do I even choose to journey together? Let that land for a moment. This isn't about spiritual bypass or pretending the connection never existed. This is the ultimate test of your healing. It's the difference between a love born of desperate, karmic need and a love born of conscious, clear-eyed choice. The former feels like a sentence. The latter feels like an invitation. Imagine you've spent years gazing at a magnificent, intricate constellation in the night sky, believing it held the entire map of your love life. You've studied it, prayed to it, felt abandoned by it. The sovereign shift is when you build your own telescope, peer deeper into the cosmos, and realize you're not just looking at the stars. You are, in fact, standing on one. You are a star yourself, with your own gravity, your own light, and your own power to decide which other celestial bodies you wish to orbit with. The old constellation is still there. It's still beautiful, but it's no longer your master. It's just one pattern in your infinite sky. This is where you stop being a beggar at the door of a fated relationship and become the gracious host of your own life. You set the table. You decide the guest list. And if your twin flame were to walk through that door today, you wouldn't collapse in a puddle of grateful tears. You'd look them in the eye, see the truth of their journey, and from a place of profound love and unshakable self-respect, you'd say, "It's so good to see you. Now, tell me, what do you bring to the feast?" You're no longer evaluating them based on a past promise, but on a present moment vibration. You are assessing the energy, the growth, the compatibility of the people you have both become. The karmic contract is null and void. It's been burned in the fires of your own transformation. What remains is not a destiny, but a dazzling, open field of possibilities. And the most liberating part, your worth, your purpose, your joy is no longer tied to the outcome. The journey was never about getting a specific person to love you. It was about using that intense catalyst to forge a you that is capable of giving and receiving a love that is free, conscious, and wildly, unabashedly chosen. And the most fascinating secret of all, this sovereign power doesn't just rewrite your future with your twin. It begins to alter the very fabric of your present reality in ways that feel nothing short of miraculous. But that, dear co-creator, is a magic we must explore together, just around the corner. So here you are, standing at the edge of what you once called the end, only to discover it was merely the shoreline of a vast new continent within yourself. You came here asking for a sign, for a 100% guarantee that the tumultuous seas of the twin flame journey had finally stilled. And the answer you received was not a flashing neon sign in the sky, but something far more profound, the quiet, unshakable realization that you have become the lighthouse. This completion was never about arriving at a destination where the love simply vanishes or the connection is severed. That would be too simple, too small for a soul that has expanded as much as yours has. No, this is a different kind of resolution, one that feels less like a full stop and more like a graceful, deliberate semicolon. The previous sentence, filled with its drama and longing and lessons, has been written. The next clause? It's yours to author from a place of wholeness you once only dreamed of. Think of the entire journey not as a quest to claim a prize, but as the most intensive and beautiful apprenticeship of the heart. Your twin flame was the master craftsperson who taught you to feel the grain of your own soul, to recognize the unique tools of your spirit, and to understand the blueprint of divine love, not as a theory, but as a tangible force. And now, the apprenticeship is over. You are no longer the student, desperately trying to replicate a masterpiece you saw in another. You are the master, standing in your own workshop, surrounded by the raw materials of your future, with the skills to build a life that is authentically, joyfully, and uniquely yours. The longing for certainty was always just the soul's homesickness for itself. And now, your home, the love you sought so fiercely externally, has been internalized, not as a memory, but as a functioning, breathing part of your cellular makeup. It fuels your compassion, informs your boundaries, and colors your dreams. This love is no longer directed at a single target. It becomes the very atmosphere you exhale into the world. This is the quiet victory. There's no parade for this. No one will hand you a trophy. The celebration is internal, a silent, sustained, and glorious symphony playing in the cathedral of your own chest. The chaos was the construction site. This peace is the habitable, beautiful home you've built upon it. And the most breathtaking part? This isn't an ending at all. It is the grand inauguration of your life lived consciously, creatively, and courageously from your own center. The twin flame journey was the portal. Your sovereign life is the boundless landscape that awaits on the other side. You are no longer defined by a connection, but empowered by it, ready to weave its wisdom into everything you touch. And if you listen closely to this new silence, you might just hear the first gentle whispers of what your soul, in its magnificent freedom, desires to create next. But that, of course, is a story for another day.